Okay, so unique video. I'm going to say this one was inspired by some training that I just left from. I just left from the Code of Ethics class at the Royal Palm Coast Board of Realtors, put on by Stal DiStefano, great instructor. I believe he was the 2023 Instructor of the Year for Florida Realtors. Did a great job. Something that came up towards the very end of the class had to do with buyer feedback after a showing. And this is something I've been following for a while because it's definitely interesting, the path that it's taking. National Association of Realtors has started to talk about it a little bit. Florida Realtors has started to talk about it a little bit. I know there's lots of agents like myself when we do have listings, because we are primarily buyer's agents, but when we do have listings, the listing feedback is important. You know, it gives us an idea of what's going on with the property, what was the pros and cons of the property, and we can in turn relay that to the seller and let them know what's going on. But here's what's going on, and this is really important. So I'll give you a real world example. Listing agent gets word, hey, I'd like to show your property. No problem. They approve the showing after they talk to the seller, and buyers come tour the property with their agent. Automatically, showing time, which is normally the preferred method for requesting showings, showing time will send out an automated email that said, hey, we'd like your feedback. A lot of agents just hit the delete button. It is what it is. Some agents will respond and provide quality feedback. Others will provide a couple of words here and there. And there's usually some generic questions that the feedback comes back with. Is it too high? What was your showing like? Was it a 1 through 5? Where did it rate? But here's the problem that seems to be coming up. And this is where agents and consumers need to be really careful, because the consumer says, man, you know what? It's going to take me $20,000. I've got to redo the bathrooms. You know, there's a couple of issues out by the pool I don't like, or I didn't like the layout of the yard, or I'm going to have to replace the tile, right? And the buyer's not thinking about it. Potential buyer's not thinking about it. And they're providing the feedback to the agent, and the agent in turn is submitting that feedback into the showing time system. By the way, showing time is owned by Zillow. We're not going to hold that against them because they're all about data mining. So this feedback gets back to the seller. Hey, this is what the potential buyer said, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's just say 2-3 weeks goes by, and that same agent shows that house again, because showing time tells us who wants to see the home, what agent wants to see the home. And lo and behold, come to find out, it's the same buyers. They didn't find another property that would work. Maybe they couldn't find something else within their price point, whatever the case may be. 2 or 3 weeks goes by and they come back to that same house. And now the seller's saying, wait a minute, you gave me all that feedback about my house is dated and you got to put all this money into it. See where I'm going with this? Now all of a sudden, that particular potential buyer is looking at, oh wow, did I stick my foot in my mouth? You know, should I have maybe worded that a little more carefully? Because this is 2025, right? And I'm going to say it the way it is. Everybody gets their feelings hurt about that fast over God only knows what. But in the realm of the business world, this is critically important. So, buyer post showing feedback. Be really careful about it. Really careful about it. My brother-in-law, before he passed away, he used to have this saying, mind mouth. You know, think about what you're going to say before you actually say it, because 2-3 weeks down the road, that could come back to haunt you. So definitely, you know, like I said, National Association of Realtors is thinking about what's going on with, you know, buyer post showing feedback. Florida Realtors is also having some discussions about that. It can be a really positive thing for the consumers, for the agents. Let me share this with you. I'd be very, very careful with my wording. I'd be really careful with my wording, especially if there's a possibility that you might have to come back to that property in the future for a second showing, or potentially put in an offer, right? Important things to keep in mind. Buyers, be thinking about really where you stand, especially in the current market. I mean, there's no such thing as a housing shortage, right? Especially in Southwest Florida, there's thousands and thousands of homes out there for sale. Homes, condos, you name it, whatever, they're out there, right? But Is it the home you want? Is it the property you want? You got to keep that in mind. It's critically important, because what if you come back to it? God, now you got to think about it. So keep that food for thought. Roy Caballo, broker owner, Caballo's Realty Referrals. If you're an agent and you're looking for some good input, advice, please come to me, ask. And you should be going to your broker first. But if you can't go to your broker for some reason, I don't mind sharing some information, but you really should be going to your broker first. And if you don't have a broker yet, hey, I'm always willing to take on agents, especially brand new agents, because you guys are great. I can mold you. I can show you what right looks like, right? So that's a positive. All right, folks, it's getting to that point in time. You can see the clouds behind me. They're starting to look a little which means I'm going to get changed and go do some other stuff. All right, guys, have a great week, and I look forward to hearing from you. Throw me your comments out there if there's anything you want to see in another future video, and I'm out.